Good copy on you. Come back with the call sign one more time, please.
Okay, this is Kilo, Florida, 4, Charlie, Germany, Mexico.
Roger, Roger. Got a good copy on you. The name here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike, and the call is Kilo, Charlie, 9, Victor, Kilo, Victor. Roger.
Roger, Roger, Jim. The name here is Dean, Delta Echo, Alpha November. Thank you for putting out a CQ. I'm located in Central Florida, a little bit south of Orlando.
Roger that. Roger that. Down by Disney World?
Yeah. I'm about 25 miles to the east of that location. And I live here. I'm full-time resident and born and raised right here.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Well, that's unusual. Everybody in Florida's from somewhere else, Roger.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm a young guy. I'm 51. I was born in South Florida in Miami.
Oh, Roger that. My hometown is West Palm Beach, so we're neighbors, Roger.
All right. Well, you guys are on the good side of the street. A lot of money over in that area. But anyways, here in St. Cloud, we're growing fast, but our city logo is where we celebrate small-town living. So let me tell you about my station. It's the new Yaesu FTDX1200, and I'm barefoot, just 100 watts, microphone, the MD100, feeding 100 watts into a 6-element beam.
Oh, Roger. Well, you're doing a heck of a job. We're located near Louisville, Kentucky. We are just on the other side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. And the radio here is Yaesu 990, an older Yaesu 990. And we're feeding a SP220, and then up to an inverted V. Roger, Roger.
Okay, Roger Dodger, Jim. We got Mother Nature's favoring us. But I'll tell you a little bit more about my antenna was given. It was a gift to me from a family who it belonged to for over 50 years. And one of my friends had passed away last year. He was 93. And anyways, and it was his mother's before his. And nobody else in the family was interested. And they was I come by and they offered to let me have it if I took the tower down and the antenna. The tower that the antenna on also is a Wilson made. See if I can say it all in one breath, Jim. It's a Wilson made. It is a tilt over, crank up, rotatable, a tubular tower, a 40-foot, and the rotor is on the bottom.
Roger. Now, I just heard about that from somebody else. So this is it like a telescopic antenna or just telescopic tower?
Yeah, yes, sir. It's rather heavy duty. Mine was born in 1979, same year as also the antenna. And also the antenna is called a Wilson SY36. And they had sold the rights to their patent for their equipment to somebody, and then they sold it to U.S. Towers. Makes a similar, they made a few changes, but real similar to the same design.
Roger, Roger. Now, what is the height of that tower?
This one is a freestanding 40-foot.
Roger, Roger. Now, and it's got, a 6-element beam at the top of it?
Yes, yes, indeed. If you have internet and ever do QRZ, my picture on my QRZ page is a nice aerial of the antenna.
Roger, Roger. So, and you say this was in your family relations area for 50 years, and then you finally wound up with it?
Yes, sir. It was originally first bought and installed in Milwaukee and Wisconsin, and when a friend of mine had retired and moved to Florida, moved to Florida in the early 60s, anyways, I brought this stuff with him. So I had to do a little bit of restoration work. The antenna was a survivor, Jim. The antenna was in great shape. When I took it all down, the tower needed a little bit of love. You know, it had some rusted rivets here and there. I guess years ago they didn't have aluminum. I don't know what they used, but I think there were still rivets in some of the construction. And it was very easy to make some repairs and restore the tower. I took my time with the concrete pad. I dug a very good 6x6 by 4 foot wide hole and lots of reinforcement still and a good heavy amount of concrete there, almost 3 yards. And I gave it a little extra time. I waited about 2 months for the concrete to dry before I even started mounting anything on the concrete. And I finished it this year of April the 1st, 2017. It was a fun project. It took me about 4 months to do that. KC9VKV, KF4CGM.
85ZJ.
There's another station in there. We'll let him go. Go ahead, station.
Yeah, this is Alpha Bravo 5 Zulu Juliet. I copy you guys real good here in Lake Bardwell, Texas. Go ahead.
Roger, Texas. You're sounding good. I'm in Louisville, and Dean is down towards Orlando in Florida.
Yeah, roger that. Very good. I hear both of you 5 by 5. I didn't look at the signal report there, but loud enough for armchair copy. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. Well, we have some pretty good conditions this morning, Roger.
Yes, there is. Good propagation. I heard you guys talking about your antennas. I'm on the lake in my RV little trailer, and I've got a magnetic loop antenna about 2 feet off the ground, sitting about 50 feet away from me. We're about 150 feet from the water. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. So you're using this antenna to transmit and receive. I thought loops were more or less for receive.
Negative. That's kind of a that's some kind of a myth I saw on several of the things, but you can actually create them to be both transmit and receive. In my case, I can do 1 kW, but right now I'm running 100 watts to it. Go ahead.
Roger, and do you have, use your, it's an Armstrong as far as the directionality?
Well, the magnetic loop antenna at 39 inches in diameter right now, it's somewhat directional, but a lot of it depends too on propagation and the phasing of the signal coming down off the ionosphere. Believe it or not, I can rotate it, but it does very little good in most cases.
Amazing. Dean, do you have a copy on the other station there?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. On the Alpha Bravo 5 JJ, correct me if I'm wrong, here is KF4CGM, and good morning from the Sunshine State.
Yeah, KF4CGM and the group Alpha Bravo 5 Zulu Juliet, and I'm portable here today. And I got to tell you, your signals are very strong right now. In a little while, I'm going to move the magnetic loop down to the actual water area and experiment there to see if my signals pick up. But right now, it's about 75 feet from where I'm sitting out here with my cup of coffee underneath the awning of my little RV trailer. Go ahead.
Well, thanks for coming in here. You got doing real good. You must have a sweet spot there in that location. My name is Dean, Delta Echo Alpha November, and I'm only 100 watts barefoot on a 6-element beam. And thanks for saying good morning. I'll pull back and listen, and I'll pass it back over to the Jim and see what happens. KC9VKV and KF4CGM. Pick it back up, Jim.
Roger, Roger. Well, you both guys are blowing my doors off here around Louisville. I'm really surprised that that is a magnetic loop antenna, Roger.
It's a magnetic loop antenna, 39 inches in diameter, 2 feet off the ground. I'm using a Russian-made vacuum variable capacitor, and I tune it remotely with my remote stepper motor tuner. So while I'm sitting here, I can know what the SWR is and tune it back and forth. And I can tune between 7 megahertz and 15 megahertz. Go ahead.
Roger. Conditions kind of take a little dive there, and you also have remote directionality control. You can rotate it remotely.
Roger that. It doesn't do much good. Your signals are so strong it doesn't seem to matter where I rotate it. Go ahead.
Roger. The conditions have shifted. Dean, if you still got a copy, go ahead.
I sure do, Jim. He said, Alpha Bravo 5 Zulu said our signals were good. He still can hear you, Jim. He said if he rotated it, it did not make a difference at this time. Signals were good. Go ahead, Jim.
November Bravo 0 Papa.
Go ahead, station.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the break-in. This is actually a club station, November 0 Lima Mike. We were supposed to meet some people on this frequency, and if you wouldn't mind, if I could ask your indulgence for me to call to them and advise them of a freak shift to 243. Would that be possible?
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. This is November 0 Lima Mike calling Great Shakeout stations, all LM stations for the Great Shakeout. We're going to QSY to 243, 14.243. Again, this is for the LM Great Shakeout exercise. This is November 0 Lima Mike, QSY to 243. Thank you very much.
Roger, Roger, anytime. Go ahead, the magnetic loop station. Give me your call one more time. No, conditions are still down. You're above my noise level, Roger, but you're not quite as hot as you were, 5 minutes ago, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. Your signal is still an S9, so it is phasing, propagation as it is where I'm located, but you're an S9 here. Go ahead.
Roger, so your experiment is going to be to put your magnetic loop over the water or close to the water?
Close to the water.
How close?
It'll be right on the beach area where the ground is wet and the water is lapping over it.
Now that's pretty close. Do you have waves coming in there, or are they just little lappings? Little lappings. All right. So be interesting if you can monitor your SWR if the lappings cause a SWR shift.
Yes, I can monitor the SWR. I have two things I can monitor it with. Actually three, so I can manage it real well. I have a rig expert AA600, which is very accurate in determining what the SWR is. But the radio, the ICOM 7300, also has an SWR capability. Go ahead.
Roger that. Well, I think conditions came up there just a little bit. What is the name again down there?
Oh, the handle is Tom, Terrence Oval Mike. And you're, Tim?
That's Roger. Come back one more time with your name.
Tom, Terrence Oval Mike.
I got it, Tom. Got you there. Well, how long will it be before you move your magnetic loop?
10 minutes until you guys came on. I just answer you because you were so strong. But if you're going to hang around here for a while, it'll take me about 15 minutes to move it, probably.
Oh, Roger. Well, I'm not sure. I probably will. Dean, are you going to be around?
I'll give it a try, Jim. And your signals from both you gentlemen are holding up fine. KF4CGM. I'm still here.
Tom, you might find it interesting. I have a YouTube page called QSO-VLOG, and I do QSO recordings and post them on on YouTube. So we are recording this segment. So your magnetic loop is being documented as to effectiveness, Roger.
Hey, Roger that. Repeat now. Okay, give me your call real slowly because I got no place to write it down except my iPhone. Go ahead.
Roger, the call is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. I'll repeat, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, it'll take you to the QSO-VLOG segments, and right at the top there's one that is a list of all of them, and if you open that one up, there's about 90 QSO-VLOGs, and the first one is Art Bell, and this conversation will be close to the top there. Roger, Roger. All right, Tom, you've taken a pretty big hit right now. You have taken a pretty big hit. I didn't copy that last. You were right at my noise level. We're right at my noise level, Roger. If you wanted to go ahead and start moving that magnetic loop towards the water, we probably continue our QSO there, and you could join us, after you get it moved. Roger, Roger. Dean, I couldn't copy. Back to you, sir.
Okay, this is KF4CGM, KC9VKV. Tom said he acknowledged. He said Roger, Roger. So I'm really surprised. It did real good here. Let me take a small pause. I got to pick up a landline, and I'll be right back, sir. KF4CGM.
Roger, Roger. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and we're located near Louisville, Kentucky. If there's anybody else that wanted to jump in, go ahead. The Kilo November 4 station, you are right at my noise level, but come back. Station calling. I'm sorry, you are right at my noise level. Roger, Roger. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor.
Kilo Fox 4 Charlie Golf Mike is back on, Jim. I do not hear the other station.
Roger. He said it would take him just a little while to move that loop down towards the water, Roger.
Okay. I hate to leave in a good conversation, but I had an important call to take there. And so back to you there. I looked up your information, and are you just in, I think, on vacation? Because I think it said you were in Indiana.
Roger. Well, we're just across the river from Louisville. I can see downtown Louisville from here. We're technically in New Albany, Indiana, which is 3 miles west of Louisville on the Indiana side of the Ohio River.
Okay, very good, Jim. I got a good friend of mine that lives further north up in Evansville, Indiana, and we chit-chat every morning and every afternoon on 40 meters. Well, you've been holding up real good here. And if I may, a little brag, and yesterday here on 20 meters, I worked a station in the St. Helens Islands, a Zulu Delta 7 Victor Charlie, And I looked at my log 4 years ago. It was the last time. But I mean, it's just been that long, and under the conditions where they keep dipping down and dipping down. So I don't know if you're in any of that. It was I think Islands on the Air 022. Anyways, I'm still pretty young in the hobby. I've only been in it for about 25 years.
Roger that. I've been in it for about 6 years. I'm a late bloomer.
Okay, roger that. I got a couple videos on YouTube as well, and I didn't even know one time I typed in my call sign and seen where another station, I guess, it's okay. I thought here you have to ask. I don't even know how the rights go. Anyway, so I'm just guessing, but I looked up and it was real neat. Anyways, my other favorite band for many years when we used to have the good openings was 10 meters. Even in the mobile with low power on 10 meters, I worked stations everywhere. But it's neat, real neat, and a real neat hobby. And hopefully I'll get some more real estate. I have just a standard issue lot in the city, and luckily I still got several antennas up. I used 7 at most any time, 2 towers, and 1 push-up pole, and then the dipoles with wires strung out between flag poles. KC9VKV, KF4CGM on a 6 element.
Roger, Dean, your skyline over your house looks like mine. I've got 3 towers and 4 4 pipes, and I mainly run UHF, VHF Yagis. I build those, and I just recently put up a Cushcraft. It's called the Big Boomer. It's 22 feet long, 19 element, and it's really a handful of an antenna, trying to beat the ones that I build as far as signal capabilities, and it did beat mine only by 1 light as far as receive capabilities. On the Yagi that I build is a 7 element 8 foot Yagi on VHF, and a 20 element 8 foot Yagi on UHF. And one of my towers, I have stack 7s and stack 20s on the same crossboom. So it really is good. The lobe, radiation lobe off those stack 20s is kind of like a pencil. It's just super directive. About as super directive as this 19 element Big Boomer. It is, boy, I tell you, just an inch one way or the other, and the signal is degraded. You have to be right on the right on target. Like at 240 miles away on VHF, it is tuning super critical as far as being off target left or right, just an inch or so. Roger.
Hey, Roger. I set my beam back up towards your way. A little bit ago, I was looking for Tom. I'm gonna take a pause and see if AB5ZJ comes. Tom has made some changes with his loop. That's rather interesting there. But anyways, I have an antenna for every band with no antenna tuner required. KC9VKV. I'm going to pull back and listen and see if Tom comes back in there. KF4CGM.
I don't think Tom has maybe had enough time to get his loop down to the water. I know what you mean about having dedicated antennas for the different bands. I have 6 inverted V's, or actually 4 inverted V's and a couple of long wires, which covers all of the bands that this SP220 can operate on. And I just finished my 15 meter inverted V, and I came up with a principle for tuning the inverted V dipoles, and that is that I'm running them unbalanced, and so on the ground side element, I use that to adjust my SWR, and I'm constantly trying to adjust the SWR. And then on the other side, the high side of the dipole, I use that for tuning the frequency. And so I keep going back and forth and back and forth, and all the time going for as low a SWR as possible on the ground side, and trying to keep the frequency that I'm looking for on the high side. And you can walk those right on down. Most of my 3 dipoles that I've been working on are 1.01 to 1s, Roger.
Roger that, Jim. Well, I have to say your signal has been a 10 over 9 here, and really is nice to meet your acquaintance here over 20 meters. I participate in the mornings in a net that a friend of mine who gave me this antenna that I restored he belonged on, and in memory of him, to keep it going, I check in, and since sometimes I'm real amazed how well I do on 20 meters, because for many years I used to use my 5/8 10 meter aluminum with a big ground plane, the OSP 500, with an antenna tuner for many different bands. I would tune up. I had a big antenna tuner, one of the Motorola reductors, that would tune into anything.
Oh, Roger, yeah, I've got a MFJ 989C 3KW.
Oh, yeah. I haven't had an antenna tuner now in a couple of years. But this station here has a built-in one, and if I was to hit the tune button on it, to you, it sounds like a bunch of clocks going ticking and clicking and wheels spinning. And anyways, I was real surprised how well from the station was. It's not a menu nightmare, so I really enjoyed it. But I have a lot of fun. Anyways, the last couple of years, I haven't added any new flags, but I have made a lot of new friends right here in the States. And under the band conditions, Jim, again, can I ask how my signal's been holding up? You've been 10 over.
Oh, excellent. Now, I don't have my receiver set up to give you a real, report, but you're, just totally 5.9 plus. I run my audio gain and RF gain, they're locked together, and so I just bring up the both as needed for volume, and that way I keep the RF from compressing in the AGC, so I just have a really clean slate, Roger, very low noise.
Yeah, Roger that. And I try to stay real narrow on my bandwidth, and I'm barefoot, so I shouldn't harm anybody, but I was going to make a comment. About 20 minutes ago, it was real nice of another station to move their scheduled net to another frequency. A lot of nice people, but then I used to have so much fun being in the contesters and all that stuff, but I kind of got a little bit aggravated with most of that, because they move right beside you when you're talking, and with some filters and stuff, you can't get them out, and they'll move right in on top of you. But yesterday and a few days this week, I done real good going across the pond over in the northern Italy and through all over into Europe, and then all around in North Africa, and then all the way down into the San Helen Islands. And 20 meters has been really good. And sometimes, like, I can talk to you, and I can hear off the backside too, though, just as well. Go ahead.
Roger. I just finished my 15-meter inverted V the other day, and come down and gave a holler, and I got Croatia and northern Italy, so that was on 15 meters. So those bands are happening, I'm not holding my breath for 10 meters, but 15's doing all right. 20 is doing real well. Of course, 40 does well all the time. Let's see what Tom's doing out there with his loop antenna. Tom, you got set up yet?
Okay, let's see. Tom, are you set up yet? AB5ZJ? The antenna tuner, come in. KF4CGM, listening.
I think he may be still setting up. You know, he's got to move that thing physically. Although he does have a lot of remote controls. I never really thought about remote controlling a magnetic loop antenna that much. You know, he's got directionality and he's got his tuning. Gosh, who could ask for more?
Yeah. Did he say, Jim? Did Tom say it was a mobile setup though? It was on his RV.
Yes, he did. He said he was basking in the glory of his RV down there. I assume he's on vacation, right by the waterway. What waterway it was? I forgot.
He said he was in Texas.
I wonder if he's on the coast there, down the coast of Texas.
I don't know, Texas is real big. My wife is from Shreveport, Texas.
Roger, yeah. Boy, they've been having a time lately after that hurricane went through there.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people go there for, I don't know, the good doctors, and it's still a lot. If you're in construction, a lot of work, a real busy state.
Roger that. Well, a busy state down in your end in Florida.
Yeah, well, we're catching up, sir. I think officially we're about number 3.
Roger that. Roger that. Yeah, well, I want to get back down to Florida. It's been a while since I've been there. Last time I was there was probably 10 years ago, and I was really amazed at the change in West Palm from what I knew it as a kid. You know, just unbelievable.
Yeah, if you've been through some of the areas, well, most everybody has visited Disney, SeaWorld, and Universal, which come to Florida a little bit late. They have that in California way back in the early 80s. I was there. And but anyways, ham radio is a lot of fun. You learn a lot about geography, hear different things, and I got a little tooth bothering me. But I'm still doing pretty good to keep up the conversation. I got an appointment coming in a few days. Anyways, I have an uncle that just retired. He was in selling small like ships and sailboats, and he lived on a boat in Delray Harbor in California. So a couple years, every so often we go visit, and I got to do the selling from the Catalina Island. I don't know if you ever did a boatsmanship or anything, not to change the subject, but I went up and down the coast of California, and that was that was almost like work. Anyways, quite different in a sailboat, and we got to go to Catalina Island. Have you ever done any sailing, Jim?
No, but I'm constantly amazed by the capabilities of a good master on a sailing ship, where they can actually tack into the wind and move forward against the wind.
Oh yes, sir. Now, we had a restored. They made an old ship. I think the USS Constitutional, one of the first old wood ones from the old. The wars from I think 1776 that fought the British. They made it a replica. That's what I was looking for, of that wooden ship, and it went down a few years ago in a hurricane. But right before it did, a few months before that, earlier in that season, I made a radio contact with them. Anyways, everybody aboard has saved. Nobody drowned on that when it went down. But that was a few years ago. I don't remember the date on that. And but it is quite a little bit of work, and work in there, because if you're under the wind, and I would do it again. And there's a lot of different things you can do with the wind, like going up. Another popular thing right here in Florida is the air balloons. in the morning and the sun rises, when the sun is right, Jim, over the next county over, about 20 miles over the other side of Disney, they take off, and the air balloons will go from there, and they will head north towards to the north as the winds are coming. Because a lot of times this time of the year, the winds are out of the north about 10 miles an hour.
Roger, Roger. They don't. Those balloons don't like a lot of wind. 5 miles an hour is a pretty big wind in a balloon. So I'm amazed that they travel, or lift off as often as they do, because Florida does have a lot of breezes coming in off the off the ocean. Let's check again to see if Tom has moved his loop antenna. AB5ZJ, this is KC9VKV.
AB5ZJ, are you back, Tom?
Dean, I don't hear him. I don't think that move helped him.
I have a zero ground noise. The band's in real good shape between us.
Maybe a big fish came up and was wondering what that loop was.
I'm not too sure. But it looks like the sun's going to stay out here, and I had a gallon of fresh paint. I was all set up before I come in here. I was going to paint the picnic table in the backyard. So I guess I'll send it back to you for putting the ribbons on it, Jim. It was nice to meet your acquaintance over 20 meters and on my barefoot radio.
Roger, Roger, Dean. Well, say 3 is down that way, and we will be posting this conversation QSO on YouTube. And if you happen to go to YouTube and do a call letter search of Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor and get to that QSO page, open up the one that is the list with about 90 in it, and this one will be up towards the top, and we'll either manage to get it up for tomorrow or the next day. It's kind of hard to say for sure, but within the next couple of days we'll have it posted. So really enjoyed it, Dean. Your signal was just beautiful. So you have a real good day. And then Tom out there in Texas, KB5ZJ. Sorry we missed the movement of your magnetic loop antenna closer to the water. Hopefully you didn't get too close. But anyway, we'll say 3s to the group, and this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and we'll be clear.